Drama von Kew Gardens. Wir haben jetzt erst eine Stunde weg. Dann machen wir doch jetzt einfach mal hier direkt weiter. Nächster Fall.
Holmes, for heaven's sake, whatever's going on?
Oh, hello, Watson. You're early. Did you kill all of your patients?
What? Holmes, where have all these wretched bees come from?
I increased the temperature of the room so as to prevent them from hibernating. I needed to take a sample of honey. But it worked, Watson. We will have honey all year round.
Ridiculous and dangerous.
They're domestic bees, Apis mellifera, such industrious workers. Anyway, Watson, I am sorry, but I must leave you. I'm in rather a hurry.
You have a new case?
Yes, but nothing as thrilling as this experiment. A theft of plants at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew. I'm helping a minister who's an old friend of mine. You can join me if you like.
Well, I'll admit that I'd far rather accompany you than remain alone here with these workers of yours. Besides, you'll need a helping hand with the flowers you're intending to bring back.
Watson, however did you guess?
For the great Sherlock Holmes to bother with the theft of plants. Come on, admit that you're planning to spoil your little bees with some rare pollens.
Since when did I become so transparent? Let us go.
Was haben wir mitgenommen? Silbergabel. Persönlichkeitseinstufung immer noch neutral. Garn gestohlen worden ist. Pflanzendiebstahl, jetzt muss man aber trotzdem mal schauen. Noch ein oder zwei Fälle. Noch zwei Fälle. Auch jetzt lange irgendwie. Mal ganz kurz ins Notizbuch reingeschaut, das passt schon.
Well, Holmes, here we are at the Royal Botanic Gardens. There's no doubt that this place is beautiful. But are you really intent on investigating the theft of the plants?
Yes, of course.
Don't touch anything else, is that clear? Just go and get a bucket of fertilizer. And without turning it over this time. Good day to you, gentlemen. How may I help you? If you are here for a visit, please do come back on Sunday.
I am afraid that it cannot wait. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson. We are investigating the theft of plants that took place here 5 days ago. A remarkable collection, I believe.
So you're the one in charge, eh?
A small favour for a friend. Now, to whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
I am Martin Hamish. I am the Deputy Director of Kew Gardens. And that fellow yonder is Albert. He works here.
I am delighted to meet you. What can you tell us about the plants?
They were rare and exceptional plants. We presented them at our last exhibition. We haven't removed the stand yet. It is still in the large glass house. We only learned of their disappearance the evening after the exhibition, and nobody saw anything.
No doors were forced?
No, but I would imagine that for a thief it would be fairly easy to gain entry, for there are no guards here.
Well, if you don't mind, we will take a look. Now, you say that it is in the large glass house.
Yes, the one just behind me. Just a second, since Albert has nothing else to do. Albert, show these gentlemen where the exhibition was held.
How many people work here?
Only myself, but occasionally 2 students, Albert, whom you have met, and Miss White.
Das heißt, 3 Charaktere hätten wir schon mal.
Here it is. This is the place where the stolen plants were exhibited.
Thank you. Is there something the matter?
Yes, there is. All right, the plants were valuable and rare, but it seems to me that the tragedy that took place here only 2 days ago has been entirely forgotten already.
What tragedy are you referring to?
The director of Kew Gardens, Mr. Montague Dunn, he died here just 2 days ago.
We're very sorry. We were not aware. The two of you were good friends?
He was my father.
Oh dear.
Beileid.
Our condolences. We should not be troubling you. Please do excuse us for the intrusion.
You say that he died here, in the large glass house.
Holmes?
Yes, just here, near the door to the Colonial Collection. He suffered a heart attack. Just like that. So suddenly. It was terrible. Excuse me, gentlemen, but I cannot remain here. If you need me, I'll be in the reserve. That's the room next to the front of the large greenhouse.
Of course, we understand.
Okay, jetzt haben wir doch einen Todesfall mit drin.
The plants were here. Or
Do not touch.
here is a list of the
Liste.
stolen plants. According to Albert, this is where his father, Montague Dunn, was found dead. These boot
Das
marks are
Fußspuren sein sollen,
fresh.
das bin ich mir auch nicht ganz
Appears
sicher.
as though someone was dragging their feet. The traces are thinner in some places. The footprints reveal that someone staggered here. Blood. Soil. It should have come from a flower pot. The soil on the side of this flower shelf is the same as that on the ground. Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here.
Was ist denn hier alles passiert?
This pot was broken fairly recently. A flower pot recently fell down from these shelves and was misplaced. The door was smashed at shoulder height. This door handle is new. It was recently changed. The esconson was breached near the handle. The door was forced from the inside of the Colonial Collection room. The handle was changed afterwards.
I think we need to inspect the Colonial Collection.
Jetzt alles. Archiv. Okay. Suchen Sie das Kolonialhaus und den Ort, wo der Kollege verstorben ist.
This sign is broken. Something heavy was dropped upon it. Someone fell violently against this sign, and they were injured in the clash. Most likely a head wound. All the clues around here are quite suspicious. I need my imagination to make sense of it all.
Oh, aber hier stand jemand, und zwar der Tode. Einer hat hier versucht, das Ding aufzubrechen, ist logischerweise nach vorne gestolpert, hat ihn umgeworfen und dabei ist der dann mit dem Kopf. Was sag ich? Speisen. Stopp. Das hier. 3 und 3.
This reconstruction reveals a disturbing fact. Montague Dunn damaged the door of the Colonial Collection room.
He was in a panic, or the door was locked. Was it an accident, or a murder then, I wonder? I think we need to inspect the colonial collection room.
Das glaube ich auch, dass wir das machen
Very
müssen.
strange. Half of the colonial collection is absent. These windows were perfectly cleaned. The smell is strong. It is a detergent.
Oh, da ist ja was.
This broken fragment was the result of a heavy blow. A fragment of marble, most likely chipped from a statue or sculpture. Part of this greenhouse was emptied and thoroughly cleaned.
Wir haben eine Sache. Also wir müssen hier noch was ganz anderes. Aber nein, wir müssen logischerweise wieder einen Mordfall lösen, statt Blumen zu finden. Was?
According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building. These plants come from all the territories of the British Empire. According to this, they have light and moisture control in some parts of the building. Dry tropics.
Ja, das sieht sich aber nett an.
Dry tropics.
Ist noch irgendwas.
There is a smell of burning.
Da gehen wir doch direkt mal hin. Über die Pflanzen. Ja, Stelle. Jetzt auch einen Topf, okay.
The symbol is not from Kew Gardens. A protective mask. Someone set it alight, but it did not burn. The remains of a picture frame.
Warum macht man denn bitte in einem Garten ein Feuer an?
A door handle? Why would anyone throw such a thing in the fire? The door handle to the colonial collection and that of the fireplace are made of the same material. A broom handle was half burned. The plants were set alight fairly recently. Some have not completely burned.
Und es wird doch viel zu gefährlich, ein offenes Feuer in einem botanischen Garten.
Colonial collection. Dry tropics. Ventilation system. Seed house. Palm house. Director's office, cloakroom and laboratory. Nursery. Water lily greenhouse. A map of Kew Gardens.
das jetzt? Hier fehlt noch was. You are here. Find's gerade nicht.
A ventilation system. It should regulate the temperature of the staff buildings. A ventilation system.
Hier fehlt was.
Locked. Seed house.
Let's
Also,
go to Scotland Yard.
Art Guthaus.
Dry. Ventil. Nest. Direct.
Durchgehen.
Power. Water. Cologne. A map. Reserve.
Ah. Warum hat es auch wahrscheinlich was hinten noch gefehlt hat. Und das auch nochmal schnell. Hier schon von Interesse bei beiden. Weg.
Locked. Seed house. Locked.
Ja, so wie alles ist hier verschlossen. Das finde ich nicht in Ordnung.
Nursery. Nursery. Locked.
Nicht in Ordnung, dass hier alles verschlossen ist. Wie soll man denn da so ein Rätsel lösen? Die man einfach irgendwo reinläuft und eine Zwischensequenz startet. Hat er gerade gesagt? Hier ist wirklich nicht weggedrückt. Das war jetzt wirklich viel zu schnell. Nicht nur das Krage ist dreckig, das komplette Outfit sieht dreckig aus.
Albert told us about the tragic death of Mr. Dunn, the late director of Kew Gardens.
Tragic indeed. His heart attack was quite unexpected.
Herzinfarkt.
Would you unlock the doors for us?
Do you expect to find the stolen plants there? I am sorry, but those rooms are private.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Albert. Wir müssen reden.
Do you work here?
Yes, but part-time only, for I'm also studying botany at the University of London.
You're following in your father's footsteps, then. That is commendable.
Well, even if botany is not my strongest suit, there are people who say that I could be a good manager.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Holmes weiß was wir noch nicht wissen.
Farmhouse.
Zwei fehlen noch und eins davon ist auf jeden Fall die Dame.
According to
Jetzt hier mal wieder das Ding. Wie sieht es hier aus? Im Archiv. Beide Sachen im Archiv machen. Wir können auf Scotland Yard. Und dann würde ich dann doch erst Baker Street. Keine Ahnung, warum das jetzt schon wieder so lange dauert. Phase, nein.
that is not the one I need.
Jetzt auf jeden Fall nicht. Nicht in unserem Büro der Nähe. Sollte mal in die Enzyklopädien schauen. Mal weg. Das sind 2 dabei. Dürften alle sein.
Here it is.
Ich.
That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need. That is not the one I need.
Den glaube ich erstmal nicht. Erstmal hier. Die göttliche Gesellschaft.
Here it is. The Divine Syndicate is not a supplier to Kew Gardens. Besides, there is no address here.
Drehwander Gottkönig. Okay. Scotland Yard.
I asked Inspector Lestrade to take Montague Dunn's body to Scotland Yard.
It's ready for autopsy then.
Mal wieder Gegenstände.
This watch is of great value. A membership card for the London Crest Club. A beautiful feather pen of a good make.
Rain and Science. Sein Name ist ausreichend. Das ist natürlich unschön, wenn man Arbeit macht, dass man da nicht erwähnt wird.
First of all, let us carry out an external examination. There are no suspicious marks upon the chest. Let us finish our external examination so that we can proceed with the autopsy. There is an injury to the skull, most probably caused by the fall in the water lily greenhouse. The vessels and the pupil of the eye appear quite normal. The air from the lungs carries a faint floral aroma. No redness, stings, or bruises. Nothing suspicious here. Now, let us examine the internal organs.
Toll, Menschen aufschneiden.
The heart's blood vessels show no pathological signs. The heart tissue shows no visible pathological signs.
Unwahrscheinlich, dass er am Herzinfarkt gestorben ist.
The lungs are congested and edematous.
Oh.
The tissue on the inferior lobe of the right lung is damaged, most probably caused by toxins from an unknown plant. The liver is enlarged. It would seem that he was suffering from an alcohol addiction. The liver tissue is brown. There are no visible pathological signs.
Das heißt, der Kollege war Alkoholiker und wurde vermutlich vergiftet oder hat Gift eingeatmet.
The stomach tissues show no visible pathological signs. There is a small amount of content. It appears that he breakfasted lightly, only a short while before his death.
Ich darf den Darm noch untersuchen.
The suspicions have been substantiated. Montague Dunn, the director of Kew Gardens, died from poisoning, plant poisoning to be more exact.
You mean...
Yes, it is murder.
We should inform Lestrade.
Yes, but do remember, Watson, that I discovered the murder. The challenge is mine.
The challenge, Holmes?
We need to locate that deadly plant. Such a perfect murder appeals to me.
Murder of any kind appeals to you. Is that all we need to do?
No. We also have the people working at Kew Gardens. Martin Hamish and the son of the victim, Albert Dunn.
And also Miss White, of whom we spoke with Mr. Hamish. Should we bring them all here for
Wenn, dann
interrogation?
war es wahrscheinlich Hamish.
No. A few innocuous questions at Kew will suffice, as well as a discreet delve into their personal affairs. Yes, Watson, it is time now to open the doors.
Even those in the staff building. I suppose that is necessary.
We should also be concerned with the victim himself. After all, we don't know very much about Montague Dunn.
You're enjoying this already, aren't you?
More than a little.
Und hoffentlich mal ein was, der am Ende richtig ist. Ups, hier kommen wir nicht raus.
Locked.
Schade. Es findet noch 2 Charaktere. Oh, der ist da, du. Mr. Hamish.
As Deputy Director, how was your relationship with Montague Dunn?
To be honest with you, Mr. Holmes, it could have been better.
Das
You see,
habe
every
ich auch
Tuesday he
gelesen.
would carry out his inspection of the gardens, but it was solely to make an impression, great pretense that he cared at all. He would give out absurd orders, ignoring anyone else's opinion. He would then disappear for the rest of the week. He was what some might call a man of action. I'd say rather he was overzealous and chaotic. So after all, it was no wonder, perhaps, that he ended up like that, if you take into consideration his kind of lifestyle.
What is your opinion of Albert as a student of botany?
He's useless. I often tell him so, and I can only give him cleaning tasks. Botany is not his life's work, and his father well knew it. He was furious about it.
He was.
Oh yes, he forced his son to work here, and he never missed an opportunity to criticize him publicly.
Are you able to elaborate on that?
Well, for example, with our last exhibition here, Mr. Dunn had Albert make a presentation speech. But then, while the lad was speaking, Mr. Dunn interrupted him, asking him difficult questions, making him look like a failure. It was with the intention of making a fool of him, Mr. Holmes.
That must have been terribly humiliating.
Yes, he was crushed, and he had to leave. Everybody was making fun of poor Albert. That is, except for Miss Margaret White, who is such a nice lady and who always takes pity on Albert.
You mentioned a Miss White. Would you tell us more about her?
She is a student who works here part-time. She is quite charming indeed. She possesses a great talent for botany. You should take a look at some of her experiments that she carried out in the laboratory. Ah, if only she were not so naive.
Why naive?
The way she used to flutter around Mr. Montague Dunn. And he couldn't help but be flattered by all her attention. How could an intelligent woman such as Miss White not see through his game? I can only scratch my head and wonder.
You mentioned that Mr. Dunn led a particular lifestyle.
Well, it's no secret that he enjoyed, celebrating, shall we
Auf
say?
jeden Fall ein interessanter Fall
He
werden.
was a member of the London Smart Set. He was famous for it. That
And
he had an eye for the ladies, to put it mildly, Mr. Holmes.
Tell me, Mr. Hamish, do you grow the more deadly variety of plant here?
You mean insectivorous? Yes, but nothing larger than that.
So, mal gucken, wie er darauf reagiert.
Are you aware of the Divine Syndicate?
The divine what? Is this a joke?
No, I am quite serious.
What a ridiculous name. Anyway, I have never heard of this syndicate.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue.
Top, war noch nicht fertig.
Mr. Hamish, can you tell us who holds the keys to the locked greenhouses?
That would be Albert, Mr. Dunn's son. Yes, Albert keeps all the keys, and one can only imagine why.
What do you mean?
Well, he was never interested in Kew Gardens before. And now all of a sudden he is trying to act as if he owns the place. I think he wants to take over the management here. He'd do better to leave that to me. He has no experience. No, none at all.
Mr. Hamish, can you explain to us what happened to the colonial collection? It seems somewhat depleted.
But, most likely maintenance work, tidying up.
You're not sure, then? But you're the deputy director.
Well, I am busy. I cannot be everywhere at once.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall...
Ja. Ich glaube ja immer noch, dass Hamish ihn umgebracht hat, weil er mitbekommen hat, dass Albert Direktor werden sollte.
We noticed that a part of the colonial collection has been cleared.
Ah. At the moment, I'm just dealing with the storage room. I don't know much about the other rooms.
I imagine that your relationship with your father may have been a strained one.
Yes. I cannot say that he was a kind man, for he never listened to me at all. He forced me to work here. But now, after his death, I've been pondering it over. Perhaps he wasn't so wrong about me after all. I have to follow his path, and I have to manage Kew Gardens, and I can do it. I can be as good as any other who works here.
Do you hold the keys to all of these locked doors?
Yes, you can have them. But I cannot give you the keys to the cloakroom. The employees' effects are private. I am sure you understand.
Brauche ich aber auch den Schlüssel.
Tell me, have you ever heard of the Divine Syndicate?
No, I cannot say that I have.
Who is Miss Margaret White?
Ah, she is the young lady who studies with me. She visits here sometimes to help out with the greenhouses. In fact, she should be here today. She wanted to work at the seed house. That's the small greenhouse across from the large glass house.
Would you please tell us about Martin Hamish, the deputy director?
Well, I have to tell you that Mr. Hamish is not and has never been the deputy director of Kew Gardens. My father would not have tolerated it.
Indeed? That is most interesting. He told us that he was.
Yes, because he believes that the management should be passed down to him now that my father is dead. But in actual fact, Mr. Hamish only has the honour of being the garden's longest-serving employee. In fact, if we are to think logically at all, it should be me who takes over the management of Kew Gardens.
Do you not have a good relationship with Mr. Hamish?
I suppose so. But we have very little in common. Mr. Hamish loves his plants and Kew Gardens, and I cannot say that I share his passion.
I see. And how was his relationship with your father?
Oh, he hated my father. It was obvious. He would be furious whenever my father boasted of Kew Gardens in the newspapers or at conferences. He was convinced that my father was stealing all of the credit for himself. But my father treated Mr. Hamish in the same way as he treated anyone. Dismissively, with indifference.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Mir wird angezeigt, dass ich was habe, da habe ich gar nichts. Okay, ist klein. Geh weiter.
Dry, dry.
Tür auf. Schick hier.
These flower pots are beautiful. They are intended to be used for exhibition purposes. The symbol is not from Kew Gardens.
Ich habe etwas Neues fürs Archiv. Noch irgendwas geben. Auf jeden Fall ist unser nächstes Ziel das Saathaus. Da läuft sie.
Look, Holmes, this charming lady must be Miss White. She's entering the seed house.
Open.
Kann ich das Fenster öffnen und schließen?
Good day to you, miss. You have some very beautiful plants here.
Why, thank you, sir, and good day to you too. But
Oh, I do beg your pardon. My name is Dr. John Watson. This is my good friend, Mr. Sherlock Holmes.
I am honored to make your acquaintance, gentlemen. My name is Margaret White. Excuse me, but are you Sherlock Holmes, the great detective?
Yes, I am he.
What a pleasure to see you here at Kew Gardens. Are you working on a case?
Stahl 5
Yes,
Fenster. Ah, ich wollte doch das
a
erste andere
theft of
machen.
plants that took place here a few days ago after their most recent exhibition.
Oh, yes, of course. I quite forgot about that.
Das. Teures Parfüm für eine Studentin. Erstaunlich. Arme Familie, aber teures Parfüm. Irgendwas passt da nicht. Wie fehlt hier noch was? Ist diesmal nichts. Aber ist diesmal auch nichts. Augen sind nichts, Ohr ist nichts. Ist nichts. Gar keinen Sinn. Das wundert mich ja hier ein bisschen mit dem Outfit. Also Schritt für Schritt hochgehen. die ich absuche. Das Cap ist hier nichts Drittes. Bin verwirrt. Den Pool hätte man ja nutzen können. Frosch hätte man nutzen können.
Oh,
Mal nach dem
it's
Vorfall
quite
fragen.
understandable that you might forget about the theft of the plants, miss, after the tragedy that took place here.
Yes. The director was a truly good man. It is such
Die
a
lügt.
terrible misfortune.
Oder sie ist komplett verblendet. Lässt mich nicht locker. Wo ist das dritte? Sag, überspringen. Unverheiratet wäre es gewesen. Aber ich war doch schon 1000-mal über der Hand. Da kam noch nichts weiter. Wollt ihr mich verarschen? War doch nichts blau, also nichts angeleuchtet.
Do you work here?
Part-time only. I am a biology student at the London University. I attend the same classes as the son of Mr. Montague Dunn. That is how I found my chance to work here for part of my thesis, you see. It is a great honor.
Would you happen to know why part of the colonial collection was cleared?
No, I have never been there.
How well did you know Mr. Montague Dunn?
He was a master, a great leader. I saw him almost as a spiritual father.
He had an exceptional nature?
Oh yes, indeed. He was always so active and so optimistic and very nice to me. Although he could behave harshly towards his son.
Und war doch ein offizielles Arschloch.
He loved his son dearly and wanted the very best for him. It made him extremely demanding. Albert, who is naturally shy, suffered because of it.
Most of the doors in Kew Gardens are locked. Do you have a key to this room?
Oh, yes. Albert gave me a set of duplicate keys. He agreed I might carry out my studies without disturbing him. It is only temporary.
The Divine Syndicate. Does that name mean anything to you, by any chance?
Not at all. But it is a very pretty name.
Thank you, miss.
Ist mir
None
suspekt.
of the three people who work at Kew Gardens know why half of the colonial collection was cleared. So, someone is lying. It is obvious.
Wer fehlt noch? Hau durchs Fenster ab.
From here, we are unable to see the interior of the colonial collection room.
Aus Versehen. Gut.
These leather gloves are new and of good quality. They do not appear to have been used. A book about ships. Nothing at all to do with plants.
Hier.
Materials for college study. They belong to Albert. This place serves as Albert's office.
Nicht. Ich muss mal hier die Skulpturen durchschauen. Doch auch zu, oder?
Locked.
Nicht mehr.
The seeds of plant species are stored here.
Du stehst im Weg. Putzen. Und die Büste.
I am curious if the marble that we found will fit this place.
Für dich.
Here it is. The marble fragment that we found in the Colonial Collection Room is what they have in common.
Büste von Mr.
It is a
Lonely.
bust of Montague Dunn.
Putzen, ohne Scheiß, du stehst im Weg.
These young plants must be delicate if they are kept in the nursery.
Ich habe jetzt immer noch Hamish im Verdacht. Also sind alle drei so ein
An
bisschen.
award presented to Martin Hamish for Best Grower of the Year.
Alle drei so ein
A
bisschen
master's
suspekt.
degree diploma. It belongs to Martin Hamish. A glasses case. It is empty. A thesis written by Martin Hamish. This area serves as Martin Hamish's office. We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window.
Spannend. Perfekt. Hier. Taschenabdruck. Der Labortisch.
Gold dust. Good heavens. What's it doing here?
The gold is almost immune to chemical attacks, so it may be a valuable auxiliary for various experiments.
But why would anyone perform such experiments in a botanical garden?
There was a bottle here. It left behind a trace of the substance that pervaded the laboratory. Several drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. Several
Nochmal.
drops of the substance were spilled. Someone carried this bottle around. The bottle is no longer here, but it is possible to detect a faint scent. We need a good nose.
Unser Hund. Unser Toby ist mal wieder dran.
A botany book. This student's book belongs to Albert.
Repeat hier. Wenn es halt
Locked.
noch mäßig übersetzt wird.
Albert Dunn didn't give us the key to this door.
It does not matter. We will open it.
Heißt das, er hat also mindestens das Jahr wiederholt. Das leuchtet halt nur das Teil. Das muss so lassen. Okay, ich bin verwirrt. Mal nach oben. Jetzt ist schon mehr Sinn. Das alles noch mal ein bisschen verschieben. Das hier mal dahin. Das sieht soweit eigentlich passend aus. Wird auch so sein. Ja, wart's. Das ist auf jeden Fall so. Jetzt haben wir's.
Open. Albert's locker.
Scheint sich sehr für die Schifffahrt zu interessieren, habe ich das Gefühl.
A picture of Miss White and Albert in front of the University of London.
And they seem to get along.
Specialist articles on shipyards and ship construction. Albert Dunn has a great passion for shipbuilding and the sea. A rejection letter from the British
Ablehnungsschreiben.
Royal Naval College. Martin Hamish's locker. A review on rare and exotic plants. Martin Hamish has written several pieces.
Interessant. Bewerbung die Posten des Tages aus erneuern. Er war wirklich darauf aus, Direktor zu werden.
Martin Hamish studied chemistry. Interesting. Father and I, Kew Gardens. Miss White's locker. Apparently, Miss White is a capable student. A draft of the letter that Miss White sent to her parents.
Ein Brief um euch Hilfswillen, meine Studien und Wohnkosten haben sich jetzt höher herausgestellt als ursprünglich gedacht. Aber sie trägt teures Parfüm.
These
Ganz schöne Menge
jewels must
Schmuck.
be worth a small fortune. A vanity purse. It is of high quality.
Eltern sind arm. Warum kann sie sich sowas leisten, aber nicht ihre Studienkosten? Freunde Stamm A. Gut. Wir sind bescheidene Menschen. Sie Streit mit ihren Eltern. Gut zu wissen. Also ich stamme aus einer wohlenden Familie. Ich würde das große Ehre achten. Ah. Ich wollte eigentlich ursprünglich Schiffe bauen. Wurde aber rausgeworfen. Verständlich ist.
Chemicals. A sufficient quantity for some serious
Ich
experiments.
wollte halt. Das sind alles 3 Lügner, das ist halt blöd.
A phonograph used for voice recording. Remarkable.
Yes, this is quite a modern laboratory. I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything.
Martin Hamish's perception of plants. The notion of communication in the plant world has long been considered marginal, yet I remain convinced that some plants do indeed transmit chemical signals in the event of attack.
A study report by Martin Hamish.
Und
And it seems clear from these multiple experiments that plants do respond to their environment and have a form of consciousness. Margaret White, February 1895. Report number 245.
Study report.
müssen wir wahrscheinlich dann noch den einen oder anderen finden.
This is a table for experiments. It resembles my own.
Only this one is kept in good order, Holmes.
Nichts weiter machen. Bevor wir die Kollegen noch fragen, ich erstmal Tobi. Steve.
That is not the one I need.
Das ist es. Karten umfangreiche Ausfalllieferung von seinen Pflanzen oder Milch, Top-Variationen.
Here it is.
Wir fragen und das müssen wir noch irgendwo verwenden. Die Idee habe ich hier noch. Ne, doch nicht. Mein Tobi ist hier hinten.
Come on, Toby. We have some work for you to do. Let us go to Kew Gardens. Oh dear, Toby. I wasn't aware that you were Watson's new literary agent. A map of London.
War schön, dass sie sich gegenseitig ein bisschen dumm machen. Fragen.
Let us take Toby to the laboratory. He will pick up the scent of this mysterious substance. Search, Toby. Search.
Ich mag Toby jetzt schon. Und kann sogar Türen öffnen. Ist also somit intelligenter als mancher Mensch.
Congratulations, Toby. Now let us see what you have found.
Kann ich eine Chemikalie?
This is the bottle that was used in the laboratory. It was buried here. There is still some liquid remaining in the bottle, with gold flakes, a tiny caterpillar. Not surprising to see one in a garden, but at the bottom of a bottle.
Hobby holen abgeschlossen. Fragen wir zwar alle wieder nach.
Mr. Hamish, was someone from your family connected with Kew Gardens?
Family? No. I'm the only one with a passion for botany.
Ist falsch.
I do not think so. This photograph of you and your father at Kew Gardens suggests the opposite.
But you have no right to.
Do tell us more about your father.
He was, indeed, the greatest botanist of his time in the British Empire. He worked together with Montague Dunn until the end of his life. He brought me in at the age of 12.
Did he get on well with Mr. Dunn?
No, I couldn't say that. They expanded Kew Gardens together, that was all. And it was all my father's work, for Dunn always lived the high life.
So Mr. Dunn was not helping your father?
Oh, yes, he provided the financial support. And as far as he was concerned, that fulfilled his role. But the worst of it was, he declared himself as the master of Kew Gardens. Fame meant nothing to my father. So it was easy for Mr. Dunn to take all the credit.
Die Büste bitte noch.
There is a bust of Montague Dunn in the nursery.
A bust? Oh, that old thing. Further proof of that outrageous ego of his.
But why in that room in particular?
Oh, I don't know. It has always been there.
Der hat immer mehr Motive, aber nie ein bisschen Alibi.
It is strange, because I recovered a fragment of the bust inside the Colonial Collection Room.
Really? Oh, well, so I am mistaken. It ought to have been removed during the cleanup. This room is so small.
Do you know who moved it?
I have no idea. Surely Mr. Dunn requested it. Do you have any more questions like this? Because fragments of rock are not my responsibility.
Evidently. Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation.
Vektor haben wir auf jeden Fall das hier. Oh cool, das war's schon.
I perceive that you are passionate about the Royal Navy.
Passionate? No, not really. I like ships, that is all.
Are you quite sure? You do not seem to be so interested in plants.
It's difficult, that's all. My future is here. It has never been about anything else.
And yet I know that the Royal Naval College rejected your application.
Ah, you truly are as clever as they say. Yes, that's correct. And in fact, my father was strongly against the idea. He did his best to ruin my plans, although I almost did succeed. But my dreams were shattered, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Missionen. Ich glaube nicht, dass aber das war. Ich meine, klar, er hätte auf jeden Fall mehr als genug Motiv, aber eine Warte umbringen. Ist schon ein ganz anderes Kaliber. Trotzdem, du stehst im Weg. Merkst du selber, oder?
Dry Tropics.
Was ist hier schon? Tisch ist nichts, leider.
Kew Gardens is such an exciting place. Wouldn't you agree? Kew Gardens.
Okay.
From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room.
Was jetzt hier mache? Hier.
This is one of the outlets. From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room.
Nursery hat man ja auch. Gehen wir erstmal ins Labor. Jetzt wird hier auch nur noch ein Charakter. Ja, perfekt. Das hat man auch noch. Dann müssen wir uns die ganzen Sachen anschauen.
A photograph of Montague Dunn and Reynold Hamish. Newspapers discussing Kew Gardens.
Eine neue Gerstenart. Was ist denn gegenüber Kälte? Sibirische Gerste. Doch 100 Pro noch was. Das ist nicht. Die Handschuhe sind es nicht. Der Brief ist es. Nicht. Meine Unterstützung angewiesen. Immer noch? Ist aber auch nicht. Da sollte man so eventuell mal nachfragen, warum sie den als sympathisch empfindet, wenn er sie rauslassen wollte.
Champagne. Montague Dunn had good taste. French wine. A remarkable vintage.
Wo ist das? Dann also. Hier sind 2, dann jeweils 3. Okay. Dann der Rest. Okay. Drei. Und jetzt nehmen wir den Rest zurück. Und da haben wir das offen. Jetzt mal unser Lied. Göttliche Gesellschaft. Oh.
I suggest that we don't tell Miss Margaret White about this document.
Interessant. Damit du mich verteidigst, nicht damit du mich beschuldigst. Reise und die wertvollsten letzten Pflanzen aufzubewahren. Und Recht, solche wertvollen Pflanzen zu erhalten. Das war am 14. Juni 1989. Das ist das Budels. Zurück nach. Tobi muss man natürlich mitnehmen. Das ist aber schön, dass man den da auch mit da reingemacht hat. Mal schauen, was passiert ist, und dann müssen wir einmal analysieren. Nun. Es passt ja aktuell nicht. Nehmen wir erstmal das.
Let us determine just what we have found here. Let us pour liquid from the bottle into a test tube to perform an analysis. This is the bottle that we found here.
Perfekt.
a colorless, water-based liquid. Quite a strong floral aroma.
Holmes,
Welken ernsthaft?
what are you doing?
It has a bitter taste.
Einfach eventuell Gift gesoffen.
Poisonous.
Did you ever see poison stored in enormous jars like that? Anyway, there is a doctor nearby.
So what do you think it is?
It is some kind of organic compound. Let us vaporize the liquid and see what happens. Let us determine just what we have found here. Small colorless crystals. Colorless, tiny crystals that are soluble in water, with a floral smell and a bitter taste. Watson, could you pass me that small bottle, please?
Of course. Here you are. Holmes, do you know what it is?
Wagner's reagent. There was a label on the bottle that you passed to me.
No, Holmes, I meant the bottle that we found.
Let me add the reagent and see if there is any sediment, and then I shall tell you.
Ja. Hat sich rot, interessant.
Red sediment, just as I suspected. This liquid is of organic origin. It contains some alkaloid. Most likely it is unstable, and that is why there is a quantity of gold dust to prevent contamination. This mixture is probably a fertilizer. Someone was carrying out unusual experiments in the garden's laboratory. My analysis table. It is useful for my work.
Auf jeden Fall nochmal ins Archiv. Skandal bei der göttlichen Gesellschaft. Einscannern, je nach Ausgang der Ermittlung steht die Möglichkeit, dass offizielle Anklage erhoben wird.
Here it is. And here is the Divine Syndicate's address. Perfect. It is time to find out what they have against Montague Dunn.
Letzter Beschuldigter, endlich. Da hoffen wir, dass es heute mal jetzt mal ein einfacherer Fall wird.
This place is beautiful, Holmes. Its atmosphere is remarkably soothing.
Let us find someone who could help us.
Auch wie schön.
Good day to you, sir. My name is Sherlock...
I am exalting the sap. A while can you wait? From the trace of elements and moreover from the quality of the ambient geotropism it depends. Therefore, please, mind my gravitropism. Its balance, do not disturb.
Disturbed is most definitely the word.
There. Completed is the symbiosis. Welcomed you are. To introduce myself, I shall.
Wie sich das von
I am
Yoda
the Green
geguckt wird.
Grand Mystic.
The Green Grand Mystic himself.
This is me. Who am I speaking to?
We are two gentlemen who are extremely interested in the vegetation philosophy that is advocated by this establishment.
Listening to you, I am.
Innerer Frieden. Doch nicht? Verletzung. Säureverbrennung. Interessant.
We should like to take a look around, to immerse ourselves in the wisdom that emanates from here.
It is a school of anastomosis, the divine scholastic syndicate for vegetation veneration and meditation. You may say, the divine syndicate, glory to the eukaryotic. Only true devotees, those whose hearts are ready to spermatophize in sharing of knowledge, are permitted to physically enter our vegetable kingdom and its wisdom. And to be permitted, you must earn it. Yes.
Die Töpfe.
We visited Kew Gardens, and we found your symbols on their flower pots.
Coincidence, I am thinking. They would scavenge our refuse. It would not surprise me.
It was merely an observation.
Er lügt.
Green Grand Mystic, we are ready to become devotees and gain access to your temple.
What is the name of our Lord, our God King?
Wie war der Gottkönig?
Our God King's name is Trewan, Green Grand Mystic.
Oh la, good, good, I like you. Here is the holy
Ganz ernsthaft, ich will beantworten eine Frage, die ich in jedem verdammten Buch nachlesen kann und bekomme dafür einen Schlüssel.
I pray you to taste our fertilizer substance. From the burdens of life it helps to free.
But of course.
Ich dachte ich dann.
It is called. It is near the entrance.
Ich würde eine Probe nehmen.
Well, we will leave you to your meditation.
Da hinten. Oh, sorry.
A fragment of a flower pot. Fragments of a flower pot. It fell down here. The Kew
Guck mal.
Gardens symbol.
Das ist ja cool. Frag mich doch gleich mal reingehen.
Do you have friends at Kew Gardens?
None. Not worthy there.
Hä, das war doch.
Do you?
None. Not worthy there.
Oh, das waren doch 100% die. Hä, warum ist das eigentlich richtig Antwort? Das ergibt keinen Sinn.
None. Not worthy there.
Nevertheless, we have seen Kew Gardens flower pots in your yard. How could they happen to be there?
What? Our sacred place you permitted yourself to search? Sacrilege.
No, really now. There was a theft of plants at Kew Gardens a matter of days ago, and we believe the pots we found here may be connected with it. Please tell us, were you involved?
No. Those plants were ours. They had stolen them from us.
How so?
Their director, Dump, I believe.
Done.
Yes, that's what I said. He borrowed from us 3 of our sisters for the exhibition at his green fly-infested gardens. But he never gave them back to us. Excuses and imbecility. So we went in and saved them.
I see. So, if you stole those rare plants from them, then it means... Ah, I get it. Bravo, Holmes. I think the case is solved.
Ja, nicht mal ansatzweise.
We did not steal.
We saved. Well, as a matter of fact, we were unable to find our 3 plants.
I beg your pardon. And yet you took all of the exotic plants from the stand.
They had disappeared. It was the least we could do. They stole our sisters, and so we stole theirs.
Well, we will leave you to your meditation.
Was hier? Und warum sollte mich ein alter Guru anlügen? Ich glaube nicht, dass er alle geklaut hat. Okay, das müsste sein. Steht hier drin.
That should be the raw sap that the Green Grand Mystic spoke of.
Koks. Geht das noch nicht?
It is rather delicious and of an excellent quality.
My word, Holmes. Their sap is like
Was
a form
alles
of
Koks?
cocaine.
Drogentisch online ernsthaft. Okay. Warum nicht?
Caterpillars. They are raised as food for certain plants. Let's take them.
Muss man wahrscheinlich analysieren, die guten Teile.
A tropical plant. Nothing of interest. A trop... A trop... A trop...
Eine von Interesse finden.
These 3 plants are identical to the ones shown at the exhibition. I shall take them.
Wir haben gleich die nächste Möglichkeit, was zu machen, gefunden.
A trop... A trop...
Praise the grand tree, praise it!
Ja, deswegen sieht das draußen so aus.
This must be Triwan, the Divine Syndicate's god. This door is locked.
Erstmal. Den habe ich. Wie passt hier was nicht? So, würde hier passen. Haben wir's? Pizza. Ist schon dunkel hier drin.
A vast amount of opium.
Cool.
These instruments are used for smoking opium.
Kokain und Opium. Alles in einem Garten. Auch nicht schlecht. Ist ja alles.
This cabinet is full of chemicals. They are the
Ist
same as
alles
the ones
biologisch.
we found in the laboratory at Kew Gardens. This substance is an alkaloid, the same as in the bottle we found in the bushes at Kew Gardens. Perfect, Watson. We can begin our experiment.
Ist trotzdem noch was?
That would be enough to perform the most difficult of chemical experiments.
Jetzt haben wir aber nur 3 Pflanzen gefunden. Es sind ja insgesamt 10 weggekommen. Die Sache haben wir hier noch liegen. Das maximal 5, wenn wir ein Ding mitgenommen haben. 4 liegen da. Schwierig.
Follow my path, and better you will fear.
Das suchen wir nicht, das wollten wir. Ich sehe irgendwie gerade kein Motiv bei der göttlichen Gesellschaft, dass die jemanden umbringen. Die können irgendwie aus das Zeug geklaut haben, wie sie wollen, das ist mir egal, aber ich glaube nicht, dass die den Kollegen umgebracht haben.
I imagine that one of these plants would be capable of releasing a toxic vapor. I need to find out exactly how it could be done. I shall begin now. Watson, if you are at all optimistic to have dinner this evening, then I'd recommend that you put on the gas mask. A carnivorous plant. A prickly plant.
War, ich
This
weiß
is a
nicht.
strange and unusual. It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid. This plant becomes inactive after being drenched with alkaloid. This
Die
plant
beiden.
becomes inactive after being
Guck mal.
closed again. I believe I saw a small cloud of gas. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent whilst it is opened, it will reveal a little more. It appears to open after being soaked with alkaloid. This plant It closed again. I
Jetzt-
believe I saw a small cloud of gas. I wonder what secrets this plant is hiding. Perhaps if we agitate it to a greater extent whilst it is opened, it will reveal a little more.
Was soll man denn bitte noch machen? Wollen wir hier die Pflanze drauf hauen oder wie?
It appeared.
Mal vertauschen. Aber
This plant seems to have had no reaction. This plant. I find.
hier jetzt jemand das.
Toxic gas with spores. Extraordinary.
Erstaunlich. Ein Zufall, aber erstaunlich.
The plants would be capable of killing only if they were directly next to the victim and stimulated at precisely the right moment.
Let us take our caterpillars to the Colonial Collection Room. We may see things more clearly there.
It is too early, Watson. Our suspects will be there. Let us investigate Kew Gardens one more time and ask some questions.
Denn die Sekte wollte ja ihre eigenen Pflanzen zurückholen und nicht irgendwelche anderen. Bezweifle ich, dass sie das entsprechend wussten und gemacht haben. Der Hamish.
Can you tell me if you saw Mr. Montague Dunn on the day of his death?
Yes, of course. I met him, and we went to see Albert, his son, at around 9:30. He appeared quite calm.
What were you doing on the morning of the accident?
After paying multiple visits to Albert, I had a little talk with Miss White. Then I returned to my desk to complete some paperwork. Suddenly I observed that Mr. Dunn was not feeling well, so I ran immediately to fetch Albert. I clearly remember that it was around 10:30, for I was late that morning.
Thank you, Mr. Hamish. We shall continue our investigation. Your father's death does seem highly suspicious. What were your movements here on that day?
Suspicious. Well, I was working in the seed house, taking care of something, or Lear Pontus, or... No, wait. Ah, these Latin names. And I spent so many hours trying to memorize them.
Did you see your father that day?
Yes. He came here with Mr. Hamish for his weekly visit. There was nothing unusual about that.
And then?
Nothing. They stepped out to the backyard. It was perhaps 20 minutes before 10 o'clock. Then about 10 minutes later, I saw my father heading for the dry tropics room while Mr. Hamish returned here.
And Mr. Hamish and Miss White, what were they both doing that morning?
Mr. Hamish visited me a couple of times. I also saw him returning from talking with Miss White, and that was at 10 minutes past 10. But then he ran back here to me to tell me that my father was feeling unwell. We hurried across to the water lily room, and I found my father lying dead on the floor. Oh my God.
Thank you, young man. We shall see you again soon.
Was haut da jetzt schon wieder nicht bei hin? Einer hat ja gesagt, er war dann im Büro. Nicht, dass da...
According to this, They have light and moisture control in some parts of the building.
Ist schön, dass sie das haben, aber trotzdem erstmal mit den anderen Dingern, mit der Dame reden. Den finde ich immer noch super mit den Kakteen.
Can you tell me what Mr. Dunn was doing upon the day of his death?
I can, but there is nothing very special to say. I was in the laboratory when I saw Mr. Dunn heading towards me. Tuesday is the day of his weekly visit. It was supposed to be at 9, but he was 10 minutes late, as usual.
And then?
Well, he came in to say good morning. Then I saw him spend 2 or 3 minutes by the plants outside the laboratory. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery, where Mr. Hamish was working. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would pity anyone who stood in his way.
And that was the last time you saw him?
Yes. I stayed in the laboratory until 20 minutes to 11, when I heard the cries of Albert and Mr. Hamish from the large glass house.
I joined them as soon as I could, for I knew that something must be very wrong.
What exactly were you doing in the laboratory?
I was recording an experiment for my thesis. I only stopped my work once when Mr. Hamish visited me briefly around 10 o'clock.
You say you were recording an experiment when the tragedy occurred. Might I listen to the roll?
Certainly. Please do. You will find it in the laboratory. It is number 320.
Thank you, miss.
Glaube nicht. Einige Zeit später, okay.
Everyone has gone, Holmes. The way is clear.
Jetzt mal nochmal ins Labor. Da kann ich auf der anderen putzen, du stehst im Weg.
According to this, they...
Jetzt mal nach da. Viel zu viele Türen. So, das Labor. Da ist direkt am Eingang.
Gloves, waterproof aprons, everything one might need for self-protection.
Hier fehlt aber einer.
It
Das
appears
ist der,
as
den man
though the
verbannt hat.
protective equipment is missing from here. Such masks are generally worn when dealing with toxic chemicals. Here it is.
20.
Cylinder.
These plants, classified as shrubs or grasses, have adapted to their arid environment due to a system of underground roots.
This recording seems very long. It is unnecessary to listen to all of it. Miss White was in the laboratory, as she told us.
Haben wir noch nichts Neues. Aber wir haben ein paar Gespräche. Ganz unten. Verdauern. Rathaus zu tun, wo ich mich um die, keine Ahnung, kümmern wollte. Der Gärten. Kam zusammen mit Mr. Hamish vorbei, das war nichts Ungewöhnliches. Und dann im Hinterhof, das war 49. Und 10 Minuten später, also 9:50 Uhr. Ich müsste mir das mal aufschreiben. Vielleicht wird es dann diesmal was. Aber mal clever wie immer so Notizen. So. Wenn 40 war er. Rathaus war's. Richtung Hinterhof. Nur noch 50 war es dann Wüstenhaus. Schade und Rathaus Hamish. Und 10 war dann also Hamish Gespräch weit. Und da war es dann mit der Hamish Richtung Saathaus. Wird eine Weile dauern. So. 30. Oder sind zum Saathaus gegangen. Nein, verdammt. Soweit würde es beides erstmal passen. Also Hamish und die Story von dem anderen Typen würde erstmal passen. Das wird los. Genau, er hat ja gesagt, er war offen. Dann sitzt du zum Saathaus. gerade gegangen war, das passt auch. Der war ja dann da, dann ist er woanders hin, vermutlich. Dann war er wieder da, dann ist er zu Miss White, das würde auch passen, dann ist er wieder zu Albert. Zwischenzeit. Damit ist also ja Rathaus. Ach, schade, dass man nicht ganz gleich direkt nach unten machen kann. Wäre natürlich schön. Okay. Also, 3 Storys überschneiden sich schon mal perfekt. Das 10:40 Uhr im Labor, jetzt müssen wir mal schauen. Und wirklich ca. 10 Minuten später, das heißt 9:10 Uhr. Den war der Start. Kam zu mir ins Labor, das heißt, wurde Labor. Dann war er alleine. Ich hab doch nicht da drauf gedrückt, was soll der Scheiß? Mensch. Das wird wahrscheinlich irgendwann in den 2 bis 3 Minuten passiert sein. Dann das Anzuchthaus, das müsste das Rathaus sein. Aus. Bis 40 im Labor. Plötzlich waren dann Hamish und Albert im Labor. Im Gewächshaus. Den vorbeikam, passt das? Das ist gut, 10:10 Uhr, das wird auch passen mit dem Gespräch. Schauen wir uns mal die Karte an. Also der Kollege ist ja rein. War dann hier. Dann sind es zusammen zum Saathaus. Das Anzuchthaus. Hier das. Ja, sorry. Das ist zum Saathaus. In Richtung Hinterhof. Tode ist dann ins Wüstenhaus. Hamish ist wieder ins Saathaus. Das heißt, die sind da, hier. Wahrscheinlich hier gequatscht. Einer da, einer nach da zurück. Dann wieder nach vorne. Was hier das Anzuchthaus ist. Ich will mal schauen, das ist nicht das Anzuchthaus, sondern das Saathaus. Sind die beiden ins Gewächshaus. Zum Anzug draußen, dem Hämisch arbeitete. Hier sind nochmal nach da sind sie hier beiden hin. Erst nach da weiter. Hier ist er zurück. Dann ist Hämisch vor. Hat gequatscht. War dann im Bürogebäude. Geblich. Jetzt kann man von hier. Das will ich mal jetzt beim ersten Mal direkt das Richtige habe. Einfach mal das Ding komplett auseinandernehmen. Ach, warum dauert es so lange runter zu scrollen? Zu erledigen. Frage ist, kann man von... Sein Büro ist ja im Anzuchthaus. Also müsste dann im Anzuchthaus sein. Kann man von seinem Büro aus nach drüben schauen ins Gewächshaus, ins Kolonialhaus?
We can see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room from this window.
Geht, das würde also passen. Das ist exakt bei seinem Büro, also das würde passen. Ich glaube, Hämisch sagt in dem Fall die Wahrheit. Die Geschichten decken sich fast perfekt. Warum sollte er erst hier hinten hingehen? Ein paar Minuten. Das Lüftungssystem funktioniert nicht richtig. Was ist, wenn er ein paar Minuten gebraucht hat? Das heißt, er müsste schon viel früher tot gewesen sein. Na, da erst ein paar Minuten gebraucht hat, um die
When
Fenster
Montague
zu schauen.
Dunn was standing close by the plants, the caterpillars were released and caused the deadly spores to activate. Panicking, and likely already half asphyxiated, Montague Dunn started back and knocked over the bust. He rushed to the door, but it was locked. He had to force it open with his shoulder. We already know the outcome. Montague Dunn collapsed and died not far from the pool. Well, It is time to perform our experiment on the ventilation system.
Das ist jetzt eine Sache. Er meinte, sobald sie ihn hat, also begrüßt, und dann war er 2-3 Minuten draußen. Hier, dann verpasst. Vielleicht außerhalb des Labors. Ich kenne mich hier absolut gar nicht aus. Warum sollte er hier 2 bis 3 Minuten verbringen? Jetzt sind ja nicht so viele Pflanzen. Also bis auf die bisschen Hecken und so. Das hat ja gar keinen Sinn. Sonst wenn er einmal in Eile war. Meint er war in Eile, dann würde er doch nicht 2-3 Minuten hier verbringen. Dann würde er nur stracks hier weitergehen. Denn sie sind halt wirklich dann hier lang. Hier war Albert. Dann sind sie in den Hinterhof, haben keine Ahnung was gemacht, gequatscht oder so. Haben sich dann getrennt.
First of all, I need to visit the Colonial Collection Room to see how those caterpillars dropped onto the deadly plants.
Toll. Ah, das ergibt also. Jetzt am Ende ist das Ding eh wieder falsch.
Dry tropic.
Ist er hier lang? Jetzt warum war das Ding denn zu?
The caterpillars could only fall from the ventilation duct. Our caterpillars are in place. I'll activate the ventilation system so that they fall down. Watson, stay here and observe.
All right, Holmes.
Schon mal dauerhaft.
Before starting the engine, the power is on. The engine has started. The ventilation system is working.
Gucken wir mal hier den Ding nach.
Excellent. This ventilation fan is working. Let us see if I can activate the other one. From here, we are unable to see the interior of the Colonial Collection Room.
Ich muss mich dann nur fragen, wer von denen den Ventilator angemacht hat.
Perfect. Now I just need to find what...
It works perfectly, Holmes. Bravo. Now, if you could just help me to get rid of these caterpillars.
Perfect. Now we know how the murder of Montague Dunn was carried out, by activating both Albert's and Mr. Hamish's fans.
But only from Mr. Hamish's workplace would it be possible to see when Montague Dunn entered the Colonial Collection Room.
Stimmt. Gelegenheit, aber irgendwas passt halt nicht.
Let's go to Scotland Yard.
Ich meine, in der Zeit, in der... Hier aus. Guck mal, haben wir direkt was Neues. Nicht, dass sie unerfahren ist. Alberts Ambitionen. Nicht zu den Stärken von Albert und sie hat halt das Wissen. Ich meine, er hat wiederholt und sie hat das Wissen.
Inspector, I believe that Martin Hamish is guilty of the murder of Montague Dunn.
Aha! I knew it. I'll send the lads around to arrest him.
Very good. I shall wait to hear from you.
Ich bin mir nicht sicher, ob er ganz schuldig ist.
Inspector, I came here as quickly as I could.
Martin Hamish is in the large glass house. There's no need to hurry.
Holmes,
Oh.
my God!
Er ist tot.
Yes, we found him like that.
Our messing around with the ventilation system didn't go unnoticed. Mr. Hamish realized that we knew.
Inspector, could you arrange the body, please? I should like to examine it.
Ich meine, er ist tot. Ich glaube wirklich nicht, dass er es war.
Holmes, his left shoe is unique. This anomaly is often a characteristic of...
A club foot. Bravo, Watson. That is the key element of this case.
Nee.
The mark around the neck is very visible. He died instantly. Something about this rings very oddly.
Why do you say that, Mr. Holmes?
Why? Because of Mr. Hamish's club foot. Oh, I deserve to be kicked from here to Charing Cross. I should have noticed it.
But, Mr. Holmes, I can't see why.
No, I don't suppose you do. You must recall that Mr. Dunn was locked inside the Colonial Collection Room by the murderer. If it was Mr. Hamish, he would have had to run up to his workplace to trigger the fan situated above it, taking into consideration the condition of his foot.
Well, it is still possible.
Perhaps, but it is rather strange that such a person as Mr. Hamish decided to base his plan on the speed of his gait.
You mean to say that somebody helped him?
So the suicide is questionable?
Correct. Mr. Hamish accuses only himself in his letter, and so the investigation stops.
Possibly an accomplice, then? That idea had not occurred to me, Mr. Holmes.
I have another idea, Inspector. Thanks to the testimony that we have collected, we are able to rebuild the events as they took place that day.
With a timeline, such as we did in the Jack the Ripper case.
Precisely.
The map at the entrance of Kew Gardens should help us with our timeline.
Super, das habe ich schon gemacht.
Let us analyze the facts and statements so that we may recreate the events of that night.
30. Das Gespräch war ja in der, könnte man sagen, in der Zeit. Szene rum. Und 49. Hamish. Hinterhof, das war 20 vor 10. 9:50 Uhr war Wüstenhaus. Wurde er vergiftet? Ja. Die haben sich getrennt. Ich glaube hier. So. Die Hosen aus.
Let us summarize. Montague Dunn was poisoned inside the Colonial Collection Room. He forced open the door, which means that someone locked him inside there at 10:20. Martin Hamish was last seen at 10:10. This means that he has approximately 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Given that he was club-footed, it is doubtful. Albert also has 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room, which is quite enough time. Miss White was last seen at 10 o'clock, which means that she had approximately 20 minutes to lock the door. More than enough time. Perfect. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish in killing Montague Dunn.
Er war ja der Einzige, der gesehen hat, dass sie es war, also dass sie es hätte sein können. Und? Daran. Ganz kein Komplize. Ne?
What should we do next, Holmes?
Kann ich mit Albert etc. reden? Ich weiß halt nicht, ob ich jetzt alle habe. Ich hätte Hamish, das kann ich.
Holmes, don't look at me like...
Ich kann nochmal mit den beiden reden, aber ich glaube, das geht nicht mehr. Aber rein theoretisch, dadurch, dass Hamish der Einzige ist, der das sehen könnte. Und da er auch tot ist. Und sie beide wissen, dass er von da hinten das aber nicht so, dass Albert das von da hinten nicht sehen konnte, muss sie es sein. Schwierig. Ich glaube, sie ist es. Ja, komm. War mir von Anfang an suspekt. Jetzt wollen wir mal schauen, ob ich diesmal richtig liege.
But Holmes, how can you be certain that we'll find Miss White here?
It is obvious, Watson. Just use your brain.
I am using it. I do use it.
Now that the rope has tightened around Martin Hamish, Miss White must act to erase all traces of her implication. After the suicide of her accomplice, there is one final trace remaining: the deadly plants of the Divine Syndicate. She will be there.
Very good. Shall we go?
Just one moment. Now listen to me, Watson. I shall see her alone. You will conceal yourself behind her, quietly.
Whatever are you planning?
Nothing spectacular. The impulses of women have always been a mystery to me. But she is a bold one, and so we must be cautious.
All right. You can count on me, Holmes.
Sie war gut, er musste wiederholen, er kannte also nichts von den Pflanzen wissen.
Mr. Holmes, good day to you.
You do not seem surprised, Miss White.
Well, I was expecting you.
Not for too long, I believe. So please tell me, as it is still unclear, who planned the murder? Was it you?
You were wrong, Mr. Holmes.
It was Martin Hamish, then. You managed to convince him to take on a more prominent role.
You could not be further from the truth.
You think that you can fool me?
You don't care what I think.
It is difficult to care about someone who is capable of pushing a man to his suicide. It is over, Miss White. The police will be here any minute.
Over, perhaps. One moment you were here, and the next, you were on the other side.
The other side? No! Stop! I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, it's too late.
Oh, verdammt. Nicht geschafft. Aber auch Quicktime Events hier.
This is tragic, Holmes.
Are you able to do anything?
I'm afraid not. The poison has been fulgurating her
Oder wieder
heart
beweisen, dass sie es Wissen hat.
poor child.
Und. Stopp. Richtig. Da weiß endlich mal wieder was. War erstmal richtig. Das ist halt blöd, dass sie gestorben ist, aber die wäre so oder so gestorben, also. Ja, nun klar. Also nicht eigentlich unparteiisch. Dann wäre es das aber auch wieder gewesen für heute. Hat schon lange gedauert. Na gut, 2 Fälle. Der erste ja zu kurz war. Das heißt, morgen dann machen wir dann weiter. Mal schauen, ob einer online ist. Nö. Dann würde ich sagen, in dem Sinne bedanke ich mich fürs Zusehen. Es war mir wie immer eine Ehre. Sage bis zum nächsten Mal und auf Wiedersehen.